Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Loader here, reporting in for semi-final week of Premier League and preview of our preliminary finals. Richard can't make it again this week. He's headed off up to Brisbane to watch Carlton and his team, the Brisbane Lions, in the Who Cares Cup. And apparently going to be locked into the ground after the first siren goes, just to make sure no one leaves. Anyway, enough of my humour. So, semi-final week, obviously, we two pretty good matches, not real close, to be honest, but reasonably high scoring again. Just goes to show the further you go in the season, the tougher it is to win. And our first semi-final, we had Hybrids off against Mixed Bag, and Hybrids got the job done, 146 to 137. So I think that's now 12 of 13 wins, Hybrids. So they're had their bit of a downer last week and really come to the fore. Roman Lewandowski leading the way with 40 points, Kim Richardson 36, John Bedford 35. Kim Richardson, incidentally, 2 Eagles in that round, and Peter Bowick also 35. Mixed Bag, Steve Tonkin doing well with 37, Peter Goff 34. Now, if everyone remembers last week, Richard sledged him big time, saying he wouldn't contribute, so he probably needs to eat his words, and probably good that he gets out of the state once Peter Goff gets hold of him. Mr. Consistent this season, Steve Morgan with 34, and Kane Anderson, who'd lit this team up for a few weeks, still managed 32. So pretty good season by Mixed Bag, and had some really good wins, but unfortunately just came up short against a pretty red-hot Hybrids. And over in our other semi-final, big upset here. Cinderella Boys 146 getting the job done against the Hackers 138. Simon Putner 38, Sean Slattery 37, Dean Jacobs 36, and Glenn Rogers 35. Showing the Hackers a clean pair of heels. Chris Jennings having some red-hot form, 38 points. Steve Presser 38. John Clancy 34, and then Craig Bessel, Jeff Ridge and Dave Pearson bringing up the rear there with 28 points. Now, Jaden Dixon, their supposed captain or leader as such, in the last few weeks has really been getting into his teammates, saying, Craig Bessel, Chris Jennings need to do something. Well, much in the light of, the old John Kennedy scenario.
Think, don't hope, do! At least you can come up and say, I did this, or I shivered it, or I played on. At least I did something. At least do something. Do! Don't think, don't hope, do! At least you can come up and say, I did this, or I shivered it, or I played on. At least I did something. Do something. Do. Don't think, don't hope, do. At least you can come up and say, I did this, or I shivered it, or I played on. At least I did something.
So unfortunately for Jaden and his group of merry men, it went a bit more like a scene from, which we all remember from the British Open a few years ago with our friend John Van der Velde. All we needed really was the Benny Hill music, and Jaden would have had his own comedy show last Saturday, I think.
I don't believe it. This is... This is so sad.
So unfortunately for Jaden and his men, they'll go down in the annals as one of the right up there with the Fockers as far as 1 week away from finals, sitting on top of the ladder and then losing the first week by a point. The irony that then cost them a spot in the preliminary final, because losing the next week, had they finished on top, they they would have their next match would have played someone different, would have got through. So that's all a bit of ifs and buts, but lose their last three and they're out of it. And like I said earlier, a bit of soul searching, and especially for Jayden, he better hope there's a draft or something, or there's a team out there that doesn't know about his shenanigans, because it is a team game, Jayden, and it's been duly noted that it wasn't all about you. So commiserations to the rest of the Hackers, and a bit stiff that it led to that. But so over to our preliminary final, our first preliminary final, and we'll have Dimple Balls versus Cinderella Boys, and I would think this one's a tight one. Predictor has Cinderella Boys by a point. We all know Dimple Balls' supposed history, but I think they can't do anything more than they've done, and that's win through to a preliminary final. Can they take the next step? Who knows, to be honest. I can't predict this one. Cinderella Boys may be on a bit of a roll, but it's a bit like AFL, when you don't play, they forget about you. But Dimple Balls played very well the week before, so like I said, can't predict that one. Second preliminary final, Hybrids versus Reluctant Heroes. Well, Reluctant Heroes have got 2 or 3 players probably vying for All Australians, so history tells you they're the team to beat, but this competition's been littered with teams that have really got on a roll, and Hybrids are right on that sort of roll. They look a bit like the Turtles of a few years ago. They just keep coming. So I think they've won 12 out of 13 after sitting on the bottom of the ladder, so that's pretty good form. And I think it might be a bit like the other one. I'm probably saying Reluctant Heroes with my head, but my heart would love to see them Hybrids win through to a grand final. Predictor has it 135 to 137, so it's toss of the coin. Is it it's one of those? Is it the most consistent team against the team that can produce a couple of their players, can get some high numbers up there? So John Bedford been very consistent all year. Kim Richardson, we know what he's capable of. Roman showed last week. Steve Jones for Reluctant Heroes in very good form. John Tomlinson slowly working back into form. Mark Scholes is always there and abouts, and Kirk Ardley, I think, got them over the line in the last grand final, so with the best on ground. So we know he's more than capable when it really matters. So good luck to everyone. I can't wait to see. I know last Saturday Hybrids, they were floating on air through the sports lounge after getting up, so 2 teams are going to feel the same way again this week. So good luck to everyone, and we'll try and get our 2 captains in for our grand final show next week. So play well, everyone. Thank you.